Hello and welcome. My name is Tom, and this is my wife Heather, and this is the Enthusiasm Project, Season 8, Episode 1. Ain't it great and full of fun?
Wow. Did you write that down?
No.
Wow.
Believe it or not, a lot of this show is off the cuff.
Yes.
I know it seems very scripted, but speaking of off the cuff, before we dive into the exciting stuff that we're going to talk about today, we actually need to talk about the sponsor of this episode. So I would like to thank, drumroll, Riverside.fm for sponsoring this episode of The Enthusiasm Project. I've used Riverside for several years now, both as a host and a guest, and while it's always been great, I've really come to appreciate it even more as remote podcasting and recording has become even more popular. So Riverside lets you easily record studio quality remote audio and video from anywhere with no latency, regardless of internet bandwidth. Riverside automatically records locally to each participant's computer and uploads it all to the cloud. So that means your guests don't have to do anything, and you'll get full quality isolated audio and video tracks for each person. Locally recorded files are supported up to 2160 4K video and 44.1 or 48,000 kilohertz audio. There's even a mobile app to make things easier for you and your guests. You can publish and share your recordings immediately or put them in your editing software of choice with separate audio and video tracks. If you'd like to give Riverside a try, use the link in the description along with promo code TOM15 for 15% off of your subscription. Thanks again to Riverside.fm for sponsoring not just this episode, but this season of The Enthusiasm Project. All 10 episodes.
Yay!
Yay. Now, speaking of seasons, we all go through seasons in our lives. Seasons of change, seasons of,
the transition.
We haven't done a podcast together in a while.
We're a little rusty.
I don't think we're rusty at all. I think there's a lot that's ready to go here.
Oh, great.
So today, to kick off this season, one of the things I try to do with each group of episodes with this podcast is have some sort of common theme running between them. Doesn't necessarily have to tie in super, super strong and, it's not like the Marvel Cinematic Universe or something, but it's kind of like, oh yeah, that season's sort of focused on this topic here. And a big one for you and I is over the past few months, we've sort of you especially, we've really sort of shifted perspective on our YouTube channels.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be a really fun thing to share that because it's something that's been really helpful to both of us. You starting something brand new, me continuing something that exists, and then seeing so many people out there who seem to be feeling discouraged, burnt out, exhausted, all that kind of stuff. So that's actually what we'll be talking about. This is not a how-to or an instruction or anything. This is just a conversation.
Yes.
Right?
About our personal experience.
About our personal experiences.
Yes.
And, I am so rusty. I actually forgot to mention, if you do want to watch the video version so you can see us in all our glory, you can become a channel member or Patreon. All the links, of course, are in the description. And I bring that up because if you are watching the video version, I need to answer the burning questions first. You're going to notice the microphones that Heather and I are using.
Yes.
I am using the Blue Sona, or the Logitech Blue Sona, which I really, really love. I did a review on this video. I really love this microphone.
You said a review on this video.
I did a review on this video. I did a review on this microphone. It was a video review on this microphone. I love this thing. There's a lot to love about it. You can watch my whole long review if you want. But Heather right now is on the Earthworks Ethos.
Great.
That sounds good. So right now, what I need to do, and Heather was going to help me figure out how to do this, is I need to do a bracketing system objective of just going through all my mics to find the one I have that sounds the best in here on my voice. The Sona is one that's really, really close, but I just finished working on a video about the Ethos. And I think
you
Ethos,
like it.
I think
he keeps talking about it.
I think currently it is the I'm going to steal this here. The Sona is really good, but the Ethos, which I'm on now, is just a little there's a little more, a little something else, something special there. But they're both really, 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 really great. And I thought it'd be fun to then take them and have like a bracketing mic war. But anyway, that's what we're using today. That's what you're listening to today. And
And-
now, now we can get into the topic of our show. So
So,
I have a lot to share on my end, but I think your story is actually more exciting.
sure.
So, no, it's blue.
Shush. Oh, gosh, you guys. It just doesn't stop, you know?
So,
So,
about 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago now? Yeah, a while ago, maybe almost
I think
2
it's
months.
2 months, yeah.
2 solid months. I think it was like the ninth. Yeah, okay.
Less. Yeah. Anyway.
Probably not
Almost
the
2
most
months.
relevant detail ago. Heather launched a brand new YouTube channel,
I did.
which is very, very different from anything. You've dabbled in multiple channels before,
Yes.
right? So
Yes,
what,
and I've also worked with clients. So
and you've worked with a
it's not
lot
just,
of clients.
Yeah, just not. I haven't just worked with my stuff, but like I've made a lot of YouTube channels.
yeah,
Yeah.
and helped support and grow. And you wore the title of YouTube coach for many, many years, and you have a course all about YouTube. So what is your new channel about with all that in mind?
Video game.
Yeah. So I don't know. Tell me about that.
Oh my goodness. So I'll start off with saying this, okay? The thing that's different about this channel versus any other creative challenge that I've taken on since I did YouTube full time 6 years ago is that I really am going all in on this because it's just so much fun. I can't stop thinking about it. Like literally, I have lost sleep for the past 2 months because I can't stop thinking about it. And that's never happened before. Like before, it's always like trying to juggle. I see everything as like, okay, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. So you have to have this going and this going and this going. But for me, it's like, I'm so excited about this. And there's still a part of me that's like, who knows, right? Like it all can hit the fan and all of that. But if there's any plan that I want to work, it is this. Like this is my plan A. There's no plan B. Like I want this to be the plan. There's no other thing.
It's funny because like the whole time I've ever known you, I would describe you as a very confident person.
Okay.
And so like I feel like you're somebody who when you make a decision, you make the decision. And I remember what it felt like. We talked about this the other day, summer of 2020. I was on a bike ride going through like my mental self-talks on my bike ride. And that was when I admitted to myself for the first time that I wanted to make my YouTube channel my full-time job. And that just felt like a crazy thing to do. And you were the whole time I've known you, having a gaming channel has been like almost
That's
a joke.
So funny because I can't remember like myself talking about it with you.
It's never been like, let's sit down and strategize, but it's always been like, I just want to do a stream. I just want to do this. I just want to talk about game. Once I get the gaming channel going.
Because here's the thing, right? So backstory, when I met Tom, I wasn't okay, first of all, sorry, backstory. Yeah, the origin story. I have been a gamer since I could hold a controller. So like forever. I remember Atari days. Like there was just something about video games that like if I think back to the solid constant in my life that has always been there, it's video games. Mm-hmm. However, when I quit my job to start my own business and start YouTube, like I felt that I have to make a sacrifice and games are going to be put up on the shelf because I have to figure this out. I have to make, like, this is the thing that I need to focus on. And so during that time, that's when I met Tom, and I felt like you never saw that side of me, that gamer side.
No, you talked about it, but I didn't see the...
Yeah,
I didn't see
like you
that.
didn't see what you have seen.
Yeah. I mean, I have I've known you to get like engrossed in an RPG or something over the years.
Like I will play for 14 hours a day. I'm into it.
Right, and it's it's super fun. It's like I'm focusing on my business, so I'm going to put that away. And then you started your first YouTube channel, which was just the personal channel, documenting everything, right?
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the story there, and that channel like grew, and then you started your other channel, which was the tutorial, like the authoritative channel.
Yes. Yeah. Why are you smiling at
me? Well, because it's.
Or what are you getting at? What's your
I think what I'm beating around the bush on is I had somebody about 4 years ago, I was like trying to really go like, yeah, I want to take my YouTube channel seriously. And had somebody ask, what is your value proposition? And I was like, that sounds like such a business term.
Yeah.
My value proposition? I don't know. And I have a love-hate term or love-hate relationship with that term because it's like it's asking you essentially why should someone watch your stuff, which is probably an important thing. If you care about other people watching it, it's probably an important thing to ask. Like, why would anyone want to watch this? I should make it interesting. I should make it entertaining. Probably not a terrible question, but your value proposition is so easily taken as like, what is someone going to take away from this video? An easy way to address that is to then explain something, teach something, share something, because it's like, this video will teach you how to do X, Y, and Z. By the time you're done with this video, you'll know all about blank. And that completely makes sense. The tricky part with that is it puts you, whether or not you actually intend to, it puts you in a position of authority because you're somebody saying, I know how to do something and I'm going to show you how to do this thing. And it sort of has this dynamic. And what I have learned is that there's a lot of baggage that comes with that.
So, okay, if I look back at how I did it, I feel like I would have ended up here no matter what, which is so funny because I think at the core, like, this is who I am, is like, this is without me even thinking or planning or whatever, like, this is just who I am. When I quit my job to start my own business, I didn't know any better. Like, I had no idea how to go about that. And like, because I had the time crunch of, oh crap, I have no paycheck coming in, I need to build a business, I immersed myself in how do I write a business plan? How do I approach everything from value propositions and marketing plans and SWOT analysis and all of this? And like, I just looked at everything from what is the value that I'm going to provide that people are willing to pay me for?
Right. So
hell no was gaming ever There's no way I would have ever thought that this is something that I would monetize. And then like, in the grand scheme of things, of course, like I would say that we are like the second generation of content creators, like we're still figuring it out. We're all kind of like, I guess this is how it works. We're looking at each other like, what are you doing?
Right.
Should I be doing that too? Like there is no instruction manual and it's different for every person. And so like, I see why I made the choices that I did, but like, I am not surprised. And I know it's only not even 2 months, but I'm not surprised I ended up here.
Right.
And it's such a more comfortable.
Yeah. I was thinking this morning that I was going to tell you that everything you're doing with your new channel seems effortless, but I don't mean that you're not putting effort into it.
Of course. Yeah. No, I get it.
So much effort into it, but you don't have to force yourself to put the effort into it.
Well, so, okay, one thing that I could never get over with how I used to it, so I had Heather Just Create, which is my vlogging channel documenting my journey as an entrepreneur. I had Heather Ramirez, which was my channel where I was a YouTube coach. It started out with like, my mission when I quit my job was to promote digital literacy. So it was getting people, educating and empowering people to utilize digital media to achieve meaningful goals.
Great
it just
mission.
So happened that by teaching people how they can use YouTube to share their own stories, that was kind of the most effective way for me to promote digital literacy. And so I started a YouTube channel.
Right.
It naturally was like, I have a background in marketing, a background in small business and nonprofits, and I can combine that with my digital savviness to help people who are like, what is the internet? What is YouTube? What is LinkedIn? Like, how can I do that?
Right.
And so like, I was excited about it. I was enthusiastic about it. I was at the forefront of like, what are these tools allowing us to do?
Live
like
streaming, what?
Yeah, like that's why I met Tom. Like this guy has a freaking high school curriculum teaching this stuff. So you're telling me that you can graduate high school already knowing this stuff versus how we did it, which is, we grew up with the internet. We're trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So like the thing I could never get over is that I think like I was always an enthusiast. And the fact that I labeled myself as a YouTube coach that only had 10,000 subscribers on not even the freaking YouTube coaching channel, like I know that our people, you, my friends and family, just
everybody
create
watching.
More. Yeah, like I get that a lot of people in my life would tell me, Heather, we don't follow you because you're not the biggest YouTube coach. We don't follow you because you it's not about the numbers. It's not about the views. And I think people who subscribe to me understand that that is my approach because like, you know,
it's obvious
when we met, like I wasn't,
yeah,
you know, like you have been life changing, obviously. And I did not have, you know, the 10,000 million subscribers or whatever. So like
that's a lot of subscribers.
I feel like people understand that, but I don't think I could ever get over it.
Right.
And like, it really doesn't matter what other people think. It matters what I think. And I tried so hard to be able to market myself of like, here is why I am still an authority, or here's my angle, or here's my approach on how I do YouTube coaching. This is my unique value proposition versus the other YouTube coaches who all have 6 figures and beyond in terms of subscriber numbers. But I don't think I could ever get over that. And so what I tried to do was like, okay, I'm a YouTube coach that helps you create your corner on the internet. So it's not about being the biggest YouTube.
It's about
YouTuber.
doing your own thing over here.
It's about create your space on the internet where you can be yourself, where you can challenge yourself creatively. You can see yourself like doing this thing that you would have never thought you were capable of, but you always had that itch. That was like the branding that I think that was like the last iteration before I was like, forget it. Like I just threw my hands up in the air and was like, forget it.
The whole thing, like knowing you, it all makes sense because you're a genuinely like helper person.
Yeah, I've always been that way.
Yeah. And so you're excited about something and you want to help other people understand being excited about it. And I remember you even going into the thing. I think it's common to hear people say YouTube coach now, but a few years ago, it really wasn't.
Oh, hell no. I honestly think I was like the first person.
I kind of agree with you.
Yeah, honestly, because I remember when I came up with that, that's when I was doing my analysis. Like, because what is everyone labeling themselves as? And I was like, oh, I'm not YouTube guru or YouTube educator was like the thing.
Guru was a big one.
Yeah. And I was like, but I'm not a guru. I know I'm not.
Yeah.
But
a coach is somebody who helps you and helps you become your best.
Exactly.
Pushes you, encourages you.
Yeah. Like it's not, you know, basketball coaches, they don't have to be the best basketball players, right? But they help the basketball players be the best basketball players.
Look at Ted Lasso. The show's all about it's all about this.
Exactly. That's why I was like, coach, that is it. And I just latched onto that. And, you know, now everyone else is a YouTube coach, but it's cool. It's cool.
But it comes down to, it's sort of difficult, I guess, because it is putting yourself in this position of saying, I know how to do something and I will teach you how to do this thing and you can listen to me. And then it's rough.
And in the world of YouTube, like, you know, for being someone who had both channels, like a vlog channel where it's all about me and a tutorial channel where it's all about you or the viewer, like it is very hard to build a like variety channel, a personality channel, a channel where it's like, you know, the person has to build a relationship with you over several videos before they're in it.
Right.
And with the tutorial video, they don't even need to know who you are as long as you are solving a problem.
That's all you need. Yeah. Just solve the problem. In fact, the less of you, the better sometimes.
Yeah. Like, so that's why it's a lot easier. I don't know if easier is the right word, but yeah, like I really do think it's easier to build a tutorial channel.
Yeah. It has a clear value proposition.
Yeah.
But the sustainability of that is hard. So what I remember is, and some people might have already heard this story, but last summer, your brother encouraged you to start playing Final Fantasy XIV.
This past summer.
He had been encouraging you and you didn't want to. And then I remember because you were in a slump, you're like, I'm just like not feeling motivated. Maybe I need to like spruce up my workspace. And so you got a second monitor.
Let me tell you about this summer. This summer was rough for me. Okay. Like it was such a, like for so many reasons. I mean, like, okay, I know this is not the couples table and this is not my podcast.
We're a couple at the table. This was the original couples table, by the way.
Context. Okay. I think the thing that this all kind of started was I felt like the YouTube coaching conversation, which is what I would immerse myself in that. Kind of like, okay, Tom Buck is an enthusiast for audio and video. So he is on the forefront of like, what the heck is going on in this space? And then you translate it, you share your enthusiasm for that space with the people who are subscribed to you. That's what I would do with YouTube, right? So like from the passion economy to the creator economy to like how can you build a business through YouTube? How could you build a community platforms, all branding, all of these things? Like that's where I was doing my research, and I would spend a lot of my time and then figure out like, how does that apply to my people and how can I help them do these
You were
things?
like deciphering and decoding it.
Yes. And the problem is that I felt like so much of the conversation, and this isn't just in my space, it was also,
on
I think,
Facebook.
just on, I think it's just the creator economy in general, which probably could be another podcast. But I feel like the conversation just like, no more was it about creativity and enthusiasm and community and like that so magical connection that a YouTube person can have with their audience. It was just about like millions of views and crazy
View retention
thumbnails and and just like it's like it just basically like I felt like the community and the thing that made me get into this in the first place changed.
Yeah.
Like literally when I had this realization, I just started bawling to Tom. Like I just started crying in the dining room table in the dining room because I was like, it sucks because, and I know you've had this, like that. I think the beauty about the internet is that this is a place where we can connect with people over something that like in our normal like friends and family that we know in real life, they don't understand. Yeah, they don't get it. But we can go on the internet and find those people. And I felt like this space that I felt so much was a part of my identity. Like I felt like I didn't belong anymore.
Yep.
And that was the slump that I was in. On top of that, I had a huge client project get pushed back for months. So I had no work. I had no work and I had no creative drive. So I would talk about like, I was like, I don't even know where I go from here.
Yeah. That was rough. And
so yeah, Final Fantasy.
Well, no, I remember because that you were feeling that way and you're like, okay, maybe I need something. I need to be excited about what I'm doing. And that's when you've been using this old computer monitor for years and you're like, maybe I need like a second monitor. I have my monitor on my arm over here. It's nice. You're like, maybe I need like that. It's going to be easier. My workflow is going to be easy.
And you know why? Because every time I walk by Tom's freaking studio, he is tinkering and moving stuff around and upgrading everything. And like, oh, the vibe in here isn't where I can work. So now I got to put market lights. And then, oh, the guitars are just being hidden. So now I got to, screw them into the wall. And like, he just like kept optimizing the space where I was looking at my space and I was like, I don't even want to be in here. Yeah. And I know it wasn't
there's a lot
actual
to that
space. Yeah. But like I was looking for, okay, Tom seems to be having a lot of fun moving stuff around. Maybe I need some kind of upgrade or physical change or something like that.
Yeah. So I remember you got a second monitor. We set it up. You have 2 monitors there. And I remember you saying, because it is a gaming monitor, and you were like, I don't want to play a game on this.
And that was just because that was the only one at Best Buy. Like it wasn't that I sought that one out.
Yeah. It was just the one that was like in the budget that was good. And your brother had been saying Final Fantasy 14, and you were like, no.
Yeah.
But I just remember because it's literally like being there at the start of something where you're like, I don't know, I'll try it, and you like logged in just so you could play a game on your thing.
Yeah.
And then you played for I don't know how many.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
Well, then you played for like 40 hours, and I was like, so you're liking the game? And you're like, I don't really know. And then you played for many more hours, and it was like...
I don't even want to check my /play time.
But then
it's a lot. What's like 25 days of play time.
It evolved.
Last time I checked. That's 25 times 24 hours.
I mean, but that was it, right? Because you did, the game has been around for 10 years, and you did that 10 years of gaming in 2 months.
Yeah.
And then you were like...
else to do.
You were talking to me about it, and I'm happy to have you talk. I don't understand... Now I understand the plot a little bit, but you're like, it's when I talk to you about cameras and sensors and things like, well, the FX30 is the same as the FX3, but it has a crop sensor. So the FX3,
A7X5000, whatever. Like I don't know what any of this.
But you'll
means.
sit there and you'll be like, yeah.
Well, because I'm looking at you. I'm looking at him, and he looks so cute, just so enthusiastic about it. I'm like, you're so adorable, babe. Go ahead, keep telling me about.
Well, that's
all this
how. Then we go to happy hours, and you have a couple glasses of wine, and in the car on the way home, we're like, let me tell you about this character here.
Is that what I sound like?
It kind of is, yes. I mean, I've recorded it so you could hear it. But it's the thing that you can't stop talking about, and that as much as I love your excitement, I can't really relate to you on it either, because it's not I've never played the game. It's not my kind of game. And your experience of doing this 10-year game in 2 months, pretty unique. And so you want to make a video about that. And you were like,
did.
but where it's one of those things where I've had it, I think all of us have had it. You have an idea for something, you're like, I don't really have a place to put this idea.
Yep.
You know, it's not going to go on your tutorial channel. It could go on the personal channel. Why didn't you just want to put it on the personal channel?
Because I was like, no one cares. Like, no one is going to care about this. Like,
you're going to put all this time into it, and you know.
Yeah, that and I knew that this could also be a conversation starter with other people who get it.
Right.
So they're not going to care about my vlogs or
600 other
entrepreneurship.
videos and stuff. Yeah.
You know, it's like I'm meeting these people for the first time. They're not going to care about all this stuff.
Right. Yeah. So then you started a new channel. You made that video and then put it on a new channel.
Yes.
And then that video went nuts.
Well, I started the channel when I started Final Fantasy, actually.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, this is the perfect time to start.
Oh, start streaming and
Yeah,
stuff.
so
right.
I was like, I'm going to stream my first time creating a character. I'm going to, stream a lot of the first things because I figured, okay, the first is something novel, and that's something like from a YouTube, standpoint. I get
it's interesting.
That's the.
It's fun to see
stuff.
people try stuff new, go out of their comfort zone a little bit. All
And
that
so,
kind
of course, you can, that part of me was still turning.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's the value prop. Is that
it's entertaining and interesting.
You get this fresh perspective or whatever. And I hated it. I absolutely hated it. So I made the channel last week of May, and then I hated it. I hated streaming a game. It is not the same as a couples table. It's not the same as live streaming where we're, something like this. Like, it is a completely different set of muscles where I am playing a game, interacting with the chat, talking to strangers. Because here it's like, I know my people. There, I don't know who these people are.
Right.
Like, it's so weird. So I stopped. And I was like, I'm just going to play the game.
Yeah.
Finish the entire story.
Yeah, then you played the game.
and then I just couldn't stop talking about it. That's when I was like, okay. So I think the channel Heather Just Play had been sitting there for a couple months. And I think I made it in last week of May. And then in August, I put out that video. And it went 0 to 50,000 real quick.
Yeah, your channel got monetized in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I got monetized in 2 weeks. That's definitely the fastest growth of YouTube I've ever had.
And that was pretty cool because your video, a thing about it is it also breaks pretty much, I know you had your strategy, like this will be an interesting story and whatever, but not that you sound like that, but it breaks all of the rules of what current YouTube coaching is saying.
I think because, this is such a horrible way to put it, but I think because I felt so cast off to the curb by the community that I felt so much a part of. And obviously the community doesn't know that they did this or I feel this way or whatever. But it was almost like my middle finger to
I'm going to do the opposite of everything.
Just to prove that we don't have to focus so much on freaking click-through rate and watch retention and all these crazy analytics, which I get why they're there. And yes, they're insightful, but I feel like that's missing the point.
Yes.
Which is, to me, the magic of being able to share your enthusiasm, to connect with other people that you'd never otherwise meet, to build these lasting, connections with over this thing that you are so passionate about. That's the stuff that I wanted to talk about. And so, oh my God, no calls to action, longest video ever. Rambling. And I intentionally, every single frame in that video was just I am not doing any of the things that they're talking about at Vid Summit.
And it's long cuts, long time in between cuts. And then everybody loves it, and it helped launch a new channel because the thing that shines through is your enthusiasm, the way that you project your enthusiasm.
Well, that and many reasons. And
that and firstly, this reason.
Well, no, I think it's hard because I don't know how there's so many reasons that I don't know how to wrap it all
there's
up.
A lot that happened. But so what I saw, I guess what I could say from my point of view is what I saw is you made this video that you were so excited about. I was kind of shocked because you've been talking about it for a long time and it was almost seemed like it was going to be a big project. And it is a big project. It's a long video. It's complicated. But you kind of
3 days.
You made it really quickly compared to, I've seen you try to force yourself to make something that is 3 minutes long and it's going to be 3 weeks because it's you don't want to do it and there's every problem is happening. And that was really impressive. And then you were having so much fun with it. And then I remember at that point, it was kind of where we started talking about, I think, I'm not taking credit for it, but I think I said, it's really cool to see you do something where you can just have fun and you don't have to. I think I was saying seeing you as an enthusiast, but I didn't use that term. You're the one that said it that way, but it was like, there's no pressure. You just get to do something you like. You don't have to be the best. You're not trying to be the best player. You're not trying to teach people how to be the best player. You're just sharing a thing you're excited about and your perspective on it.
I think the thing that people forget is that the YouTube gurus and coaches and content creator coaches and the authorities in this space that kind of, share the best practices, right? YouTube is so big that, yes, that might be best practice in that space as a YouTube guru.
Right.
But like, there are so many channels, like literally probably like thousands that are doing it completely opposite. And it totally depends on you as a person, the community that's already there, all of these things. And I just wanted to prove that it's like, I know that Mr. Beast spends $10,000 on a thumbnail or whatever. I spend $12 a month because I use Canva.
$12 a month.
Like it, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I feel like what isn't talked about enough is like the creative side of like, how do I share my experience of playing this game in a 20-minute video?
Right.
It has nothing to do with like, okay, and I have to make a cut every 10 seconds because I got to keep the attention, like I got to make sure that people are whatever, like you got to do a visual interrupt, right. Whatever. Like, no, you don't. Like, I wouldn't want to watch that.
Right.
So yeah, I'm sure it retains attention, but I literally can't watch those videos because I get motion sickness.
I get anxiety. It's just too much.
So like, I don't know. I guess my point is, so one of the things I did when I did my Heather Just Play channel was that Tom has always been the like North Star that I've aspired to, because you've done every step of this journey totally opposite of me, of anyone I know, of any YouTube best practice. Worse,
yes, I have.
Like you, it's funny because that was not intentional. You tried doing what other people did, but you were just like, this is just not.
It feels bad.
Yeah.
I don't like the way that it feels, and it's
like you still don't do mid-roll ads. You still
can't. I know I would make a ton of money, not ton of money, but a lot more money in ad revenue with mid-roll ads. I don't like mid-roll ads, and I have YouTube Premium, so I forget that there's even ads.
All your videos are more than 10 minutes long, so
yes,
you would
could do
totally
multiple mid-rolls there. But I don't like them, and I'm ads on YouTube are a thing that are going to be there even if your channel's not monetized. So fine, I'll put ads on the videos. But the video time itself, if someone's already giving me that time, I don't want to.
Well, that and like so many things, like your ethics statement, you drawing boundaries. Like this is just the lines that I need to draw because it's for my best interest. And at the end of the day, what is the biggest asset for any YouTube channel? The freaking creator.
Right.
And you're so good about drawing those lines, upholding those boundaries. Doesn't matter if there's $10,000 on the table, you will draw that line and leave it there because you have the bigger picture of like, I want to still be doing this in 10 years.
Right. And I want to enjoy doing it. And that was, a thing similar to what you had seen in your niche that I've seen this past fall is with like, there are a lot of people who cover Apple products, for example.
Right. Big launch,
and I get it. I've had several Apple product videos on my channel do well, and I've tried, and I get it. You make a video and you're like, oh, I work really hard on these other videos and they don't do well, and then I just made a quick review on this and it exploded. Why wouldn't I just keep making these? I understand the initial temptation to follow that. Personally, I've kept it as like when it's relevant to me. Hey, I got this new computer. It's amazing. I'm gonna tell you about it. Oh, it's been a year. I'm gonna tell you how it's still going. Like, and how it relates to the work that I do that you see on the rest of the channel. So it's not just that. But specifically, I'm thinking I'm not much of a phone person. I don't know a ton about phones, but I know that the iPhone 14, not that much different than the iPhone 13, which wasn't all that different than like my iPhone's like 3 years old, multiple generations behind when you put ours side by side, you really can't even tell.
Well, also, like, we're at the point in tech
Everything
where
is good.
everything is great.
Right.
Yeah, your iPhone 13 is going to last a couple years.
Right.
Like, it's fine.
Right. And so, there are people out there who are just excited about this stuff. They're just excited about how it works, and I get that. And then they want to make their videos. And then there are people who I've heard referred to as like, I need to cover this, like a journalist almost. And it's like, I need to order one of everything. I need to make all the videos. They're just, by the end of like September, October, they're just talking about how dead they are because they have been making so many videos a week to try to cash in on this stuff and try to grab the attention while the thing is hot. And if that's what you want to do because you're having fun with it, 100% that's what you should do. If you're doing that because you're chasing the thing right now and you're burning yourself, like, I guess it comes down to, do you even want to be making this video? If the answer is yes, make the video. If the answer is no, that is a problem. And that is where I feel like it hasn't been okay for people to just say that. Do you even want to make this video? And that was a really tricky thing. And I think that's why it's been so fun to see you start a new channel, where it's funny because I know you have the urge to help and the urge to teach and encourage and all that stuff. And you're still doing it, just indirectly, because people see your channel, they see what you're doing. So many people have wanted to jump into the game who were scared because there's like an online component and all this stuff. So you've encouraged people to take that leap. I'm sure you've encouraged the other YouTubers with everything from topics, production, whatever. You've definitely encouraged me because I've seen you just doing something that like when you're out having fun doing this thing you're excited about, it makes me want to go make a video that I'm really excited about having fun with. So it's like you're still very effectively doing everything that you were doing before, but you don't have to tell people you're doing it.
Instead of like, okay, here's the thing that you need to know today.
And that's where the difference is, because as soon as I say like, I'm going to teach you how to do this, it almost naturally puts someone in a critical mindset of like, okay, teach me how to do it. Does this make sense? Does that make sense? Did I follow that or not? Whereas if you're saying, look, I'm doing this, and then someone sees that and goes like, oh, wait, I bet I could do that. Like, it's a very different, it's very, very subtle, but it's very different. And it puts people in a different mindset. It attracts a different kind of person. I don't know how to.
So, okay. I use Tom, like I was saying, as my, role model, my YouTube role model, right? because I feel like you've been able to do both. And I think that one of your advantages is that you were a teacher. You have an authoritative career background, years of experience doing this. But like, I think it is literally your enthusiasm for this stuff. Like no one can possibly be the authority on the Rodecaster because it didn't exist. Like, it's like you're like, this thing solved a problem. That's the reason why I'm excited about it. Or like, when we met, I remember us geeking out on a live stream about the fact that we were live streaming.
Right.
Like we were just so excited. Like
we could even do this.
Yeah. Like this is crazy. So I knew that it was always enthusiasm that was driving everything. Yeah. And I also knew that you came from a background of like having this skill set and not being able to create your own stuff. I don't know if that comes off. Obviously I know that because I'm your wife. But when I looked at you as a role model, I think what I literally did was I copied your video description, your channel description, word for word. And I'm pretty sure you had the word enthusiast in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when I was like,
well, that was because when I changed my channel from Enthusiasm Project to my name, in the description, I kept it as, no. I kept it as, I started this channel as a project to share my enthusiasm so that it could still be in there. Still be there.
Well, so like, that's when I made my channel description. And I was like, I'm not... As excited as I am about this new venture, it's terrifying to go into this space with everything that I know about it, because it's the
curse of knowledge.
It is, it's male dominated. There are plenty of female gamers who have had horrible stories, like just the most god awful experiences that like, do I even want to go here? it's a space that is known for being very loud, obnoxious, totally insane, crazy, like all these things that I just do not identify with, and I don't necessarily want to be a part of that. And so, I think that also held me back too. But then when I saw your channel description and then looked at myself of like, okay, why do I want to do this? It's because I can't shut up about it. It doesn't matter whether I'm the best Final Fantasy player, the best gamer, the whatever. It's just like, I'm sitting here in my room and I can't stop thinking about it.
It is to you what cameras and stuff have been to me. Since the first time held a camera, I'm obsessed with this thing. First time held a controller.
Like, it just brings me so much joy. And it's about the enthusiasm for it. So my channel description says that I am a video game enthusiast. And I feel like as soon as I identified myself as that, like everything that I have been trying to force to make sense in my head or as a brand in the past 6 years, just like ching, like clicked perfectly, where it's like, I don't even have to like create this. Like, I don't even have to build this brand because this is just who I am. Like, this is just who I am. Even if I turn on the camera, just sit there and talk, that's it. That's who I am. That's what I'm doing anyway.
Yeah. I remember you were doing your first stream because you said your early streams you didn't like, but you've done streams since, which have been amazing. Like, there's people in the game that when Heather logs in, they're like in the game waiting.
They meet up with me. Yeah, it's so cute. It's so like cool. So adorable.
But I remember you like we were watching, okay, what do gaming streams look like? And there's so much noise. There's stuff popping up on screen. There's a chat overlay in addition to the chat window. There's sound effects. It's a lot to handle. And you were like, I'm just going to stream like a 37-year-old. Like,
well, it's not even that. It's just like, because I know my advantage. Okay. Just like your advantage is years of, teaching experience. My advantage is 6 years of having done this game.
Right.
Like, I've been playing. I know this. Okay. And in addition to also having that experience, if I'm going to go all in on this, I know that sustainability is paramount. Forget it. Like, if I am not into it, I will stop. I will force it, and I will be back to where I was. So it has to be about like what drives
protecting
me.
that too, like
exactly.
making sure that
like
that's a very important thing.
Or whatever. And so I think any business person, entrepreneur, content creator, any person who is embarking on some kind of journey where there have been people who have come before you, I think it is very natural to hit a point in your own journey. As soon as enthusiasm runs out, you're like, oh, now it feels like it's not working. You look to the people who've come before you as examples of like, how have they done it, right? Just like I did with, doing my SWOT analysis on the other YouTube experts or, the other authority channels on YouTube and stuff like that. Well, with the gaming channel, it's like, how do other gamers do this? And it's just like, I literally can't watch it for more than 10 seconds because I don't understand how people like don't get like migraines.
I mean, I literally do.
There's so many flashing lights and moving stuff, and there's not a point of focus.
Yeah,
it's like there's the camera, there's the chat, there's the game.
I forgot about the game. The stuff I was describing was just the stuff that's on screen, like the overlays. Forgetting the game, where if you're in like a battle royale or something, and it's like,
I'm like, I don't. What is happening?
Yeah, it's a lot. And so just stepping back and going, okay, how would I? It's the same thing. The same thing that you and I have always done, where it's like, if I didn't know this was a thing and I just needed to do it, what would I do?
Yeah.
And
if you had no idea what the word music meant, like, what would you create?
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, I don't know what a gaming stream is, but I want to play a game on a stream.
Yeah.
I think this is what I'll do. And that's the place to start. And of course you can evolve it and change it, but and
I've taken that approach from day one on this channel. And that's why it's like, I know that the YouTube best practice is this and this and this and this and this, but I really don't care.
Well, it's like, I just
don't care.
YouTube analytics in general are, if you get in the game where you're playing, here's a really good example, actually. Flying lessons. Because you know what I'm obsessed with? You know what I'm enthusiastic right now?
I know. I'm waiting for the Tom Book flying channel
to working on my pilot's license. The plane that I'm training in and the simulators that I'm training in have a G1000 cockpit, it's two screens. It's all very digital. It's very high tech. It's not just the old little gauges that you typically see in small planes. so much information is on those screens, and they're so beautiful. They're like crystal clear, high definition. Doesn't matter how bright it is, like you can see them perfectly. All the info in the world you need. And so when you're flying, it's so easy, especially if it's something like a number you're trying to chase, for example, your altitude, your airspeed, whatever. You're trying to just focus on this. But there's also a delay between the plane being able to display that info. So if you're trying to chase your altitude and you're like, oh, I'm a little too high, I'm going to go down. By the time it shows that number, that you're already actually below it a little bit. And so what I have to learn and what lots of instructors have to teach is just look outside. Just like when you're driving a car, you just sort of drive where you're going. Every once in a while you glance down and go like, oh yeah, I'm not over the speed limit. Like you use your gauges in your car to cross-check things and to verify them, but otherwise you're looking outside. Same thing with the plane. You do this, and then you double check. Yeah, okay, if I need to make a change, I'll make a change. I'll wait a little bit, double check it. I feel like that's how YouTube analytics are. If you're trying to chase something, I need to increase my view duration. I need to get my sub count up to this percent. I need to do this. You're just chasing this thing that like the numbers then react. It doesn't work. I feel like it's a wealth of information if you want to know something specific. Do YouTube thumbnails with my face in them do better on my channel than ones without it? You can go in and find that information. Like, I think that kind of stuff is really important. How old are the people watching my channel? Oh, okay. You're like, that's probably, why they connect with this kind of stuff. Like, if you have a question, there's so much information that you can probably answer the question. But if you're trying to take that like unlimited amount of data and then try to check all of these boxes to be the most virally successful, best practice-y channel in the world, you'll probably drive yourself crazy.
Well, okay, at the same time, this is all happening, right? So I'm in a slump creatively with like the YouTube content space. I'm finding this video game thing like very exciting, and I fit right in. Like it's just the other side of the spectrum.
It's easy.
Yeah, like I feel like I belong, and the whole thing. There's a lot of advertising for Vid Summit happening. So right. I just stopped going on my other Twitter. Like I made a Heather Just Play Twitter. I just stopped going on the other Twitter because I swear it was just so like, it's like I got more and more frustrated every time I saw this like YouTube advice for like, all you need to do is make great content. Who the hell is that helping? Like, what the heck does that mean? Like, I started to like yell at my phone where I was like, okay, it's not. Like, I don't want to be a grumpy old lady, okay? So I'm going to, mental health, da-da-da. So I just stopped going on there, okay? Then, I think it's because I started a new channel. So on my YouTube home tab, I started getting recommended. I don't even remember the guy's name, but it's a new YouTube coach person. I'm not going to say coach, a YouTube guru that started popping up in my home tab.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember his name, but oh my gosh, like if there's anyone, I would just put his name out there and tell you, please do not listen to this guy. It is 1,000%. This guy just can't remember his name. It's not, he's new. It's not anybody we know.
Like, his channel's growing like crazy.
I totally respect, like, let's be clear. I respect like Sean Cannell, Roberto Blake, Tim Schmoyer. These three people, they have helped me so much. Sunny Lenarduzzi, I don't know if she's even doing stuff anymore, but like there are people who have been doing this for a really long time that I feel like they've earned their respect because not only did they build their own channels, but they've worked with a lot of like channels that that a lot of us watch, So it's like
there's proof of
yeah, like they're cool. Okay, this guy, new channel, new person, and I think there was 2 videos that popped up where I finally had to click and be like, YouTube, please do not recommend this channel. Get this thing out of here. What was it? It was...
all I remember is it was like it was like how to get 100,000 subscribers
in
overnight.
24 hours.
Yeah, which also, guess what the video's not about is how to do that at all.
Well, no, it is, but like, it's not possible to do that. Tom, I was like, Tom, check this out. Look at this. We need to watch this.
But every point was in a different green screened random house location.
Okay, that's not even the first problem we need to talk about. Okay.
I was distracted. Why are you in the bathroom? And now you're in the closet. Now you're back in the living room.
Like it was, fake. Oh my God, it was so bad. Like it was so bad. And look, I never want to come off self-righteous. I never want to say that the way that I'm doing it is right. Hey, my new channel only has 1,700 subscribers. I get that I am not necessarily a success story, blah, blah, blah. Like I never want to put anybody down, but this I will straight up like please do not follow this guy. It's not just bad advice. I think it's harmful.
Right.
So here's like an example, right? So the title was something like how to get 100,000 views in 24 hours. And okay, of course, Tom and I were like, okay, let's see. What is this? Yeah.
What is it?
Sure.
What
let's
secret
go.
am I missing?
And like, the 5 things, first of all, cannot just physically be done in 24 hours. They require time, because some of it was
it's like testing and
yeah,
stuff.
one of it was like, just make all these kinds of shorts and see what hits.
Yeah, like make all kinds of different length and find the optimal length. It's like, well, to do that, you have to make a bunch of stuff, put it out there, see about it, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
But the other thing, I think this was like the first or second recommendation. It was like, go see what other people in your niche are doing and copy. Like literally,
not be inspired from.
Yeah, he said the word COPY. Yeah, copy. And I just was like, talk about completely ripping out the magic that is this YouTube
see what
platform.
they're like. If there's someone in your niche, go to their most successful videos and just make your version of that video. Just do their
copy.
Copy
he
it.
said copy. Yeah.
Just read. I can't even.
Yeah, you're trying to avoid the word copy. No. Yeah, plagiarism. Yeah, he didn't say plagiarism, but that's what it is. Let's call for what it is.
If I were still teaching and someone just turned in the same project as someone else, it'd be like, well, you copied them. And yeah, that is not like, that's where it comes down to like the why that you're doing it.
And then for the success, right? He was like, look, this person that I know has incorporated all my best practices that I've shared, and they're getting like millions or hundreds of thousands of views on TikTok. Okay. Like,
different platform.
Well, yeah. First of all, different platform, but then what?
Right.
Like,
what is that?
Yeah. Like, if we're all doing this just for the views, cool. Like, we can make all kinds of viewing clickbaity content, like,
well, that's where I would
There's all the horror stories of the, like, let's start an OnlyFans. OnlyFans.
That's the name of my channel. It's OnlyCam. We're just talking about cams.
But like, you know what I mean? Like, there's like crazy content that we can, generate hundreds of thousands, millions of views. But I
don't want to do that.
In service of what? Like, what is it all for? Do you want to, like, what do you want to do? You want to build a business?
Yeah, I just have no interest. It's like this is how you go out and you skin a cow and you take the skin and you treat it this way, and then you have leather and you turn the leather. I'm like, cool. That's a great process for making leather. I don't want to make leather. So I don't care. I don't care how successful it is. I have zero interest in doing it. That's how I feel about that. Like, oh, you could get 10 million views on TikTok. Cool. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in the thing that's just, I want my stuff to do well. Yes, I really do.
But it's in service of something else, right? So, like, of course I want Heather Just Play to do well. But that's because I want to, the whole reason why I started this channel is because I literally wanted to connect with other people who understood it, where I'm not just talking to Tom, who everything is going over his head.
As do most things in the world. But the other thing, I guess, to bring this thing in for a landing as we begin our descent, the other thing is that shift, though, from... at the beginning, I mentioned there's baggage that comes with saying or presenting yourself as an authority versus an enthusiast. You're not, the lack of pressure and just the reframing. And so one thing that I did, I guess it's been a little over a month now, it's pretty much right when the last season of this podcast ended and you were starting this, you're like, yeah, it's just me, just having fun playing games, just an enthusiast. A thing which is funny because it came from your gaming stuff was, for a long time on my channel, it said level up your audio and video.
Yes.
And that was because of the value proposition conversation from many years ago. I was like,
audio and video.
Yeah, I
want to level it up.
I've thought of myself, what I think of myself as is an audio video club dork, because that is what I was and then taught. And so, so it's just that. But me being a dork doesn't necessarily have intrinsic value, I felt.
Right.
So what is it? Oh, I will help other people level up theirs. And I remember literally one day you were talking about something, gamifying something, and I remember I was like, level up. I like that. Like, just level. Because I remember thinking, like, what do I want to do? I just want to help people level up their stuff. Oh, that should just be the slogan, level up. And then it was, and it's a great way to describe what I actually do want to do. And I've never said that. It's not like I start every video by saying, like, my name is Tom and I help you level up. Like, no, it's just like
but it's an anchor that, like, you.
It is. It's an anchor. Yeah. It's like a guiding thing. And I realized, no, I don't. There is baggage that comes with that, because that does more easily welcome people into, well, you're wrong. This is bad advice. This, that. It's like, I'm not. I wrote a very, very long about page for my website, which is like a book at this point.
Yeah, it's his autobiography.
Like a memoir.
It's really
It was
cute.
supposed to just be an about page, and it came out to thousands and thousands of tens
like
of thousands
20
of words.
pages
Yeah.
long.
It's
No
long.
joke.
But
Not even
the
exaggerating.
point being, I was like, I'm going to put all this out there. So if somebody, I know the people who leave the really just like rude, like you're an idiot.
Yeah,
comment,
they ain't going out of their way to read your
If
bio.
there was somebody who really wanted to know, why should I listen to this?
yeah.
Should I listen to this person? What's his, the common thing, did a whole couple episodes about it prior, is like, you just make YouTube videos. What do you actually do? And it's like,
What are you actually making?
thing that you watch anyway. So I was like, here's everything. My like personal history with this stuff, my professional history, my teacher history. You can go through that. You can see what you want. You can come to your own conclusion if I know what I'm talking about or not. And that's up to you to decide. I just explain my stuff. I don't make the decision for you. And then changing this channel slogan to just nerding out about audio and video, because that is what I want to do on my channel, is just nerd out about it. It doesn't actually change anything in terms of how the videos are made. Like, I don't know, at this point, there's probably been 8 or 9 videos made since I did that. And I don't think anyone would tell, oh, this is when like that shift happened. No, it's like a couple of words in a banner and on an about page. But for me, when I walk in here and decide, okay, I'm going to need to make a thing, how do I want to make it? That really, really helps.
It shifts everything, because now it's not so much about the value that you are giving to other people, which other people are going to be like, who are you to even be giving this value in the first place? But it's like, you're just in your space.
I'm just nerding out about this stuff.
Yeah, like you'd literally be doing it anyway if the cameras were off.
That's like the Rodecaster, like you said, that was why I made that first video, was because I had spent years putting together audio and podcasting setups, and it was a nightmare. And then this thing for $600 came out that just solved every problem I had. And I was like, I can't believe it was literally like somebody made this thing specifically for me. Very excited about that. I want to share it. It's why this microphone, the Blue Sona, I'm excited about, because I really love the SM7B. Lots of people love it, but there's always baggage with me recommending that microphone. It's like, well, what interface you run to? Do you need a boost? Whereas now I can just say, if you like, just get this microphone. It's cheaper and it'll work with anything you have, and it sounds great. And that's why I'm excited about it. It did correspond with, like, I just happened to see the microphone when it was released, like on B&H or whatever. I was like, oh, I want that. So I ordered it. My review of it did come out pretty close to the time the mic was launched. So if you look at something like an iPhone review, for example, which comes out when the thing is launched, there's a similarity there. It's a new thing that I'm excited about, but I will also happily make a video about my 30-year-old Sennheiser MK50 microphone that is like not cutting edge technology, but I'm excited about it because it solves problems. I've been trying to get good out of frame audio for years, was doing okay. Suddenly this thing came in and solved the problem. Boom. Now I want to share that right here. That is very different than like, oh, it's the Home Shopping Network. Here's today's new release. Like, look, this thing has a thing, and
there's nothing wrong with that. Like, let's be clear.
If that's what you want to do.
We're not saying that that's not the way you should do it, but for us, like, what?
Right. And that's the whole thing about the enthusiast perspective is I'm just sharing what I think and do. And I would love it if there's things to cherry pick from that could be helpful. That's awesome. But there's not the pressure of like ensuring results for somebody or something.
Yeah, because
like that.
There's no return. It's like, do you just want to see me nerd out about this stuff? Cool. Here you go.
Yeah.
Take whatever you want. But like the value is purely you that people can just participate in if they want to. Right. And I love how I really want to do this too, but I don't think I can. But I love how you actually have the nerding out about audio and video as an overlay for every single intro.
I changed my intro so it says,
because it's like, it just makes the freaking
just gonna remind you.
Yeah, the people who are like, well, actually, I have 20 years of experience in the audio industry, and this is totally stupid and bogus, and like, and it's like, okay, are you like, it makes you look bad, the commenter, versus you, because it's like you are literally criticizing someone who's just geeking out about this.
It's
stuff.
Hot Tub Time Machine. That's I will go to that example. People, when that movie came out, people were like, that movie's really stupid. I was like, really? Hot Tub Time Machine was not cinematic gold? What was it about? It was about a hot tub that was also a time machine. like, yeah, you can criticize it for being a dumb movie, but that movie is exactly what it says it is. So like when you bring your Schindler's List critique to it, it's like you almost seem silly. And it's sort of the same thing. Like, oh, this guy, like he forgot about this in a professional environment. It's like literally dudes in a bedroom that says he's nerding out about stuff.
Yeah.
At what point is there a claim of like
there's nowhere where you're
doesn't
like,
mean I don't want to provide accurate knowledge, help, like I want to be as accurate and helpful as possible.
That's part of the enthusiasm, isn't it? Just like someone who's enthusiastic about beer, for example.
Right.
They're gonna look into the creation of it, like how to get all the different barleys and whatever, and how to do all the flavors. They don't necessarily make the beer, but they look into it. They do the research because it brings them joy.
We even went to a wine tasting this summer, which sounds very fancy. We went to a tasting thing, and it was the guy who did it. It was this very small winery in like northern-ish Central California. And the guy just did it himself, and he's like, yeah, I just got really into wine like 10 years ago, and I just taught myself everything about it.
And Tom was all about it.
Yeah,
like,
it was just a dude. He was wearing like a Nirvana shirt or something.
Yeah,
just like...
but the fact that it was like, he loved the guy's story of just like, yeah, I was doing this thing, and then I just got into wine all of a sudden.
Yeah, and then he met like
this
artist that he really likes, so he like was able to work with her and license her work for the different labels. So he's like, yeah, this wine has like a darker thing, so I use this painting here that has like darker tones to it.
Yeah, like everything had a meaning and a memory and like some kind of attachment to him.
And so I'm sure if you took that guy versus somebody who like
is a sommelier who like works at a steakhouse, knows everything that pairs, when
trained with winery people, brewers.
They're called. Oh, I learned this. It's called a vintner.
A vintner. Oh, that's why there's a wine called Vintner's Blend. What?
Because there is a character, an NPC in Final Fantasy 14 who is a vintner, and I had to look this up. What is a winemaker called? It's called a vintner.
I remember when I worked at Trader Joe's, we had a wine called Vintner's Blend, and I was like, I thought it was just like John Vintner made this wine.
No, it's called a winemaker is called vintner. Anyway,
now that product makes a lot more sense now, but I'm sure that person could look at this guy and probably go,
what are you doing?
Or I mean, it could be either way, right? They could look at it because his wine was freaking good, and his business is doing well. Like his stuff sells out, so it seems like you're doing everything right. But I'm sure.
Well, see, but here's the thing, right? Like, who's the audience?
Right.
We are people who aren't like, we're not sommeliers. Tom and I.
We had the best. We're talking about it now.
I know, but like we're not wine enthusiasts. Like it's fun. Like it's cool. We drink wine every now and then, but like that's it, right? And I feel like sommeliers, they're okay. If you're like a super into wine, like, let's look at the enthusiasm scale. Okay, cool. Like you're over there, but there are people who are just like us that want to like enjoy it at this level.
Yeah.
Right. And there's no need for the people on the other side of the spectrum to criticize the other people on this side of the spectrum. And I think that's like what it comes down to is, look, I'm not going to criticize, all the huge gamers like Ninja or whatever. Like you do you, but also, what comment comes up so much on my gaming channel is like, oh, I'm in my late 30s and seeing you talk about this reminds me of when I started playing Super Nintendo or N64, or I'm at, my kids just left the nest and like now I want to try a new game or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I can confidently say this. I still do not have anyone under 18 watching me.
Oh yeah, because your analytics show that.
The majority is 25 to 30 something.
Or something. Yeah.
That's the biggest audience. And like for a gaming channel, I think that's insane because, gaming, when you think games, you think teenagers, middle school. None. 0%.
Well,
and I want to keep it that way.
A big lesson too that I've learned from you, like, to really wrap this up for reals this time.
Sorry.
No, I don't. It's a great conversation. My stomach is just growling. Yeah. So a thing that I've learned, I completely forgot my point.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault.
Sorry.
No, oh my gosh. There was a lot. Oh, yes. Now I remember. I could edit this out, but I didn't. So you have 3 YouTube channels now.
Yes.
And you had to make the active decision to not just decide that you were going to pause working on the other ones for maybe forever, maybe not forever. We don't know. Just pause. I'm not doing that right now. And that was hard. And then you got to the point too where you even publicly let people know, I'm not doing this right now. Like I'm over here doing this, which was more for you than for other people, like publicly saying,
Well, it's both, because I was still getting people like, can I work with you to still do coaching? And I'm like, no.
right. And it was, but the thing I remember though was your, again, admitting to yourself that this is actually something I want to invest in. And then you have invested in it. Like there's a whole vlog in your channel about getting a PS5 specifically for being able to do better screen recording. So that way you can capture the gameplay footage and do it better. And just yesterday we were talking where you were saying, like, I am a little nervous to have invested so much in a thing that I don't have proof is going to be wildly successful.
Yeah, because like, let's be clear, okay? I am very aware I can sit here all day and do a whole podcast about how I think my YouTube channel is successful. In the grand scheme of things, it's a total bust. It's still 1,700 subscribers. It's like, that's low for a gaming channel. Like that's, it's like, I'm sure that person who's like copy the other people is like, 1,700,
Oh, his channel outperforms all of our channels.
Yeah, so like I get that depending on who you are, you can see it as a failure and it all can hit the fan. And like, what I was telling Tom yesterday is that like I bought a brand new laptop. I bought a PS5. The reason why I brought it up yesterday is because I just bought a 4 terabyte solid state drive, which is $300. Like, I have put in a lot of money into this new channel and pausing the things that were proving to bring in money.
Right.
Okay. Like I was making money with my YouTube coaching business that is now on hold. So like, I want this to be the thing. If you ask me how the hell are you going to monetize, I have no idea.
But I
don't know.
The thing to take away from this though was what I told you yesterday, because we were also having this conversation in a doctor's office as you're getting checkups. So, you're thinking about things. And I was like, would you regret not doing this or not having done it? And
I yeah,
100%.
I can't stop if I wanted to,
right.
know? Whereas with the other stuff, it was like, I found myself stopping without wanting to.
Right.
It was the opposite.
That is huge. A couple of years ago when my dad passed away, he was in hospice for a few days before, like in a coma, and you and I were there days, and we didn't know, like, what do we say? What do we do? Do we stay? What do we do? And there's really no guide for that. But I remember one of the nurses came in and was talking, and we were trying to figure out like, what's best for us to do? Do we do this? And I remember she said, just make sure you're not going to have any regrets because you can't fix regret. And that really has stuck with me. Like that was a very big moment to have that lesson, but it applies to everything. Like you really can't. You can start your gaming channel. You can do it for a while. You can then, I guess it could be a bust, which I don't think it would be. I have all the faith in the world in it. Mm-hmm. But okay, I don't think you would regret doing it. I don't think you regret doing any of your other channels. I think, especially with this, you would regret smashing your head against the wall to force yourself to do something you didn't want to do.
Exactly.
While this other idea was just sitting in the back of your mind.
That's what it came down to, is because like if I was willing to throw an entire career away and like do all these sacrifices to like bust my butt trying to build a business I had no idea how to do, and then there's this, and I don't go all in on this, but I was willing to go all in on that, like, it also feels like a total failure because, okay, I'm 6 years in, I'm starting all over.
That's hard.
I'm starting from
Starting
zero.
is the worst.
Yeah, everyone, like, I feel like the light, that spotlight of like, God, here's this girl with ADHD starting something new again. Like, what's your next idea in 6 months, Heather? Like, I definitely feel that. I'm sure that's all in my head, but I'm very aware of like, okay, someone could look back at my historically failure of a career that I got nothing off the ground. Nothing went ever above, 11,000 subscribers. Like I could always have that perspective, but also I've never been happier with something I'm creating. I have like found a completely new side of myself, like creatively and just like passionately, like I feel like a completely different person. So
yeah, I left to go to the gym the other day, and you were like, I'm going to work on this little thing here. And then I came back from the gym and like watched, like an hour had passed. I came back and you had just been doing keyframes on a tiny part of the video the whole time to make it absolutely perfect.
Yeah. It's
what you would never have done before?
I spent hours trying to make this overlay of a spoiler warning of Finley and Ben that they would like, animate and kind of do like animate emoticons every time I wanted to do a spoiler warning. And I was just going to use the same overlay. So I freaking figured out how to do this. I built that thing. I would have never put that time and effort into anything else.
Right. And it came naturally. That's what I meant by effort. There's a lot of effort, but that effort came effortlessly. And that's been really exciting. So I am really excited for you and happy for you. And it's been really fun and motivating for me to be around you during this process. And I thought that's why this would be a cool conversation to start off this season of the Enthusiasm Project.
Whoa.
Because I want everyone to know where you and I are, where we're coming from and the shift, but I also just think it's a great discussion to have. So do you have any last words?
Gosh.
Or I don't know if you want to let people know where to check you out if they want.
Yeah. YouTube.com/HeatherJustPlay.
Don't feel obligated.
Yeah.
That's
Please don't subscribe if you don't. If you're not interested.
She's the only person I know who does a please don't subscribe disclaimer.
Please do not subscribe.
And I'm really glad you were here. I'm really glad you got to be here. We got to do this together. If you weren't here, though,
What?
we would have done this via Riverside.fm. So thank you again to Riverside for sponsoring not just this episode, but this season of the Enthusiasm Project. And if you want to try out Riverside for yourself, there's a link in the description. Be sure to use promo code TOM15 for, believe it or not, 15% off your subscription. So thanks so much for listening. Super excited for this season. Hope you have a safe, happy, healthy, fun rest of your week. And I'll see you next time.
Clear the table.